Zinji loves to show off, and there's plenty of traps that you can put together as, oh, this is a different Cortex, and like Snake.
Let's just roll it, buddy.
Sorry, guys.
But yeah,
misinformation.
That's something I was interested in on how Photon Edge is going to actually interact with that, because that button, very unsafe on shield, but very good at calling out movement. It's just a giant hitbox that allows you to cover across the stage. I want to see how that really mixes that up.
Apparently, it's just no need to mix it up if it just keeps working. Like Photon Edge dealing 21 unstaled, that's a... I thought it was going to kill, but a little bit too high for the up smash. And Prominence Revolt's still not killing. Thank you, Battlefield.
This is actually... I feel like this is... Snake doesn't have bad stages. I'm the first one to say this. Like, FD ain't that bad. They all complain, but this is a really good pick for both players, because Mythra and Pyra get up air extensions and back air extensions on the platforms, whereas on the flip side, Snake has access to things like this, where the tech chases under the platform that are very scary, as well as the coverage with the C4 covering a good amount of the ledge options.
Yeah, like the preparation on that cross-up with AT46, they knew that if they got grabbed, it'd be over, so they kind of dared him to do it, holding shield and waiting for Cortex to try and be aggressive out of shield. They were, and they were ready. But the bounce, dribbling that grenade right up into AT's Prominence Revolt, and we're back to even.
Yeah. I feel like that's low-key like one of the things that separates like the alright Snakes with like the okay, this guy knows his stuff, is like when you see them actually start like correctly dribbling their grenades and knowing like, okay, if I smash through it down here, it'll bounce up this high and cover a high recovery, which wasn't a bad idea, because like a lot of times Snake at ledge is one of the scariest characters, so it's never a bad option if you have the availability to try to get around it. But AT46 right now is a lot of these times where these up smash callouts just Cortex will barely whiff something, and then will end up getting caught in his movement.
Yeah, I really just in general love how AT46 is playing this matchup. Some of these Photon Edges are a little bit premature, but otherwise they're cutting combos short as to not deal with grenades. They're focusing, instead of trying to true combo around a frame 1 input, they're instead just like juggling forever, trying to land and find room to up smash and find those kills, and switching reliably between the two regardless of percent. While the dash attack got them killed, they're overall playing playing around Snake's incredible buttons and frame 1 options just so well that it's gotten them a pretty huge lead. And with Pyra at 70, you should still be scared.
Like Promise Revolt isn't gonna kill right now, but the flat, like I think around 13% it deals, as well as like the huge amount of advantage it gets. Oh, he actually gets the S-Mash read he was trying to get earlier. But the flat percentage, like knockback it does, is puts you in one of those weird spots where it's like it's not really too comfortable. But great use of that foresight right there to get past the up tilt.
Cortex is in an up tilt kind of mode. He's gonna land. Oh, he doubled down aired, and again got him killed. Didn't get him killed, but
okay, yeah, Battlefield.
Shout out to Battlefield. Super close, and does he pull it off? Oh
okay,
my god, so many close calls.
I was about to be in disbelief because he lives 2 very strong kill moves and then dies to like a forward tilt. I would have been a little bit on edge, like.
No, there.
Yeah, there stuck at ledge. Very good stuff to Cortex though. He was able to kind of close it out, just say, hey, look, he's rolling a lot because he's scared and he wants out of there. He wants off the ledge. And those forward tilts, very, very strong punish. And even if you whiff them, since forward tilt isn't too laggy on whiff, you can try to use Snake's amazing coverage to trap around those platforms, as we saw earlier with the throwing down the grenades and the up smashes.
God, I want to point out how many times that worked though. Just roll on, F tilt, roll on, up tilt. It was punished minimally so, thanks to things like Foresight before, but it always looked like AT46 was trying to scout the jump, trying to scout a neutral getup with things like forward air, neutral air, etc. But Cortex said, hey, if you're not going to adapt around what I'm doing and punish me for it, especially at 155, then I'll just keep going with roll on into aggressive option and wait for you to lose.
Yeah.
And, Cortex does take that W with that frame 4, by the way. Frame 4 F tilt.
Yeah. that move is extremely strong. And Yeah, you know, I've definitely been a little bit partial to complain about my own character as well, even though he has some cheese options. But they'll love to say, "Oh, but it doesn't connect," forgetting that it actually does connect truly on certain characters on down throw. But actually does switch to the Inkling. So this is the right AT46, and I think actually Christmas does love this matchup because you get those strong conversions off your up throw, neutral beat blocks grenades, as well as you know, you get the bonus damage off of it, and you have a huge window to up throw up air.
Yeah, the upper window is like 25% starting to kill, starting at like 105 or so. So it lasts forever. And yeah, citing not only the prominent Inkling mains like Christmas or formerly Cosmos, but this is by and large considered Snake's worst matchup for just all the reasons as mentioned and more. Inkling is just so good at hitting Snake where it hurts.
Yeah, and that actually, we saw earlier with the double down air, is that Cortex has shown his hand that he likes to swing out of disadvantage. He likes to land a button. And I feel like with that stronger up air, AT46 finally has like a nice, safe, strong move to fully get around Cortex's aggressive habits.
He's trying to read a roll in that time. He successfully read the roll away on the previous down throw, but not giving it to him is AT46. Data for later, perhaps. Just gotta watch out for that Nikita.
Wow, what a great matchup. The auto cancels barely avoids the kill move, but yeah, there's only so much ducking and diving you get around Snake. Eventually, he'll just kick you right in the face.
And good stuff on Cortex's part to even minimize damage to the degree that he has. 81 is a lot, but it's not as much considering Inkling quite literally vomits damage. But this missing the sweet spot, but covers it anyway with that up air afterwards. AT46 has been doing a pretty solid job of just not letting one hit lie and trying to look for more in this game too. And he's gotten 2 up airs because of it. Let's see if he can just maintain that lead. Cortex has been very, very solid at a stop down deficit.
Yeah, I also want to point out that like the earlier setting is that AT46 knows that like Cortex also loves to press the buttons, and when he was by the platform, he actually faded all the way out to avoid Cortex's a very aggressive up air. But as we're seeing right now is firing back of his projectile of his own, great parry tech on the side of the ledge. Now he's just kind of looking for Cortex to either get a grab or to especially that side B, and that's something that you have to look out for as an Inkling main, because the grab punish, right, that great stuff coming in for Cortex.
The grenade blew up before the second hit of down smash as Cortex gets away with the roll back to center. But as long as AT46 is in a spot like this, he does not need to care. Oh, man, 0 for 2 on these up smashes, though. That's
I think it's actually on certain characters you can't hit the full up smash, just due to either their weight or the way they get stuck in the ground.
I definitely know it's plausible on Snake to do. But
yeah, it's probably harder. You have to be very specific with your spacing, but. The Inkling's just working out really, really well. He was able to, put himself at the positions he wanted to be at. He had much safer buttons to run around in, and even though they were a little bit shorter range, he was able to pick his spots. Like, and the short hop height allows him to play around shield, and the splatter shot lets him play around the grenades even easier, as you can, I think, probably disable the side B for a bit. They have to probably re-enable it by either moving it or like dropping it and then letting it get hit. There's like a little tech you can do, or it just blocks it off entirely.
Yeah, and here we go, the switch to Pac-Man. You're just trying to stay favorable matchups and trying to give Inkling less room to roll around. I wouldn't be surprised if we see like a small battlefield here, just to try and make Inkling feel a whole lot more scared in that in those close quarter situation, especially with Pac-Man's greater degree of up close aerials. Frame 3 Nair is still something to be scared of, even if on a more string focused, like keep him out kind of character.
Yeah.
And it's hard to keep Pac-Man in disadvantage because of it.
Yeah, as you can see, like AT46 did get like a little bit of a lead, but getting out of disadvantage, having great options to kind of fight your way out of disadvantage. He was able to immediately reestablish neutral, and it's working out really well for him as he gets the fair nair on the hydrant. Doesn't quite set it up, get the setup, but continues to chase for a grab.
Did he pick up the cherries? No, he missed the.
Nah,
he missed
it
the
blew up,
item.
yeah.
It would have been huge in just to make Cortex reconsider some of their setups, especially when returning to neutral. But I really like how AT46 is playing this thus far. They're keeping it rather close to the chest, having plenty of time to get ink back. They're throwing out a lot more splat bombs, a couple more rollers than we saw in game 2.
Wow, he gets punished for the jab on shield. I always thought that was like decently safe, but you know, Cortex knowing a little bit more than I actually do.
It's a quick throw, and why not look for the hardest punish that you can and force AT46 to pick more defensive options. That makes Pac-Man's stuff all the more safer if they're approaching the shield. It's hard to shield grab this character.
Oh, yeah,
Even with the...
Yeah, all of his frame data very, very good, and as well as like even if you do catch him in a rescue spot, he has a lot of buttons, a lot of +1 buttons that you can use to get out of those spots. But
he parried it. This man's a god.
that was very, very nice to see. AT46, like this is the most important thing, because taking that lead versus owners, like the main way to beat them is to force them to approach, because like their whole archetype is about keeping you out, and Pac-Man is one of those rare characters that does have better options to get in your face. It's still not like Chrom, where his sole game plan is I'm going to run at you and I'm going to hit you.
Yeah, there's only so much that Pac-Man can gain as you get to steadily lower percents without first waiting to find tools like Galaga or like some of the earlier fruits, bonus fruits. Fruits. That's a weird word.
Definitely a little bit of a tongue twister when you're saying as many words as we do.
Still, it's back to even super quickly, and with how Cortex has been showing off some of their reliance and overexertions of Hydra. Don't neutral get it. Oh, he did it.
Yeah.
Oh no.
I mean, it's one of those scary positions where, like, you know, Snake can also do it as well, as where, like, even if you know you're not supposed to do something, you're just so scared, like, oh, what if they two-frame me, or what if they get my intangibility, or, you know, what if they back air my jump get ups? Like, I'm just gonna do this and like hope they're not paying attention, but that doesn't really work out versus better players.
It doesn't even work out against just active autonomous moves like Bell. It's just It's sitting there and gives Pac-Man plenty of time to react to something, react to the neutral getup in and of itself. But man, we went from AT earning a slight lead to Cortex having a dominating showing. Will this kill? No, not quite yet. Even with even close to the ledge with that F smash, we'll have to see how good AT's own traps are. Plenty of corner pressure, but still can't really find the kill.
Yeah, that's something Cortex has been catching out. Is like AT46, like how Cortex likes to do out of disadvantage. When he does that back air on shield, a lot of the times he's been doing that +1 button where like he'll like jump. He won't just like, okay, only my back air is safe, because some moves will be -5. But because you're buffering another input, let's say like so like your jump squat is 3 frames, so already that -5 now becomes -8, and then since your back air, let's say you're doing it rising as fast as possible, so it's a frame 5 back air. Now you have 8, now it's -13, and it slowly adds up and adds up. So even if the initial back air is safe, you gotta see what you're doing afterwards and see if all the added extra frame data you're putting onto that back air is actually worth it. Whereas like